Good morning, friends. Today we will discuss the rise or fall of liquid in a capillary tube, or we will derive the formula for surface tension of liquid and the rise of liquid in a capillary tube. There are two methods to determine the rise of liquid in a capillary tube. One is method of pressure difference, and second is the method of force. So first we see the method of pressure difference. So consider a beaker containing a liquid which partially weight the solid, that is either water in glass beaker or kerosene in glass beaker, and the meniscus of this such liquid is concave. Means when a liquid comes in contact with the solid which partially wets the solid, the free surface of liquid becomes concave. That is, so let small r be the radius of capillary, capital R be the radius of meniscus, then theta be the angle of contact, rho be the density of liquid, and capital T be the surface tension of liquid. Now in this case, the pressure exerted by the liquid column of height h becomes equal to the excess pressure exerted by the liquid by using the concavity of the liquid. So suppose this is h be the height of liquid in a beaker, means this is capillary, this is beaker, and this capillary is deep inside this beaker, and the liquid rises up to height h. So pressure by liquid column is equal to h rho g, and then pressure difference by concavity is Pi minus Po equal to 2T by R, and therefore these two pressures are equal, and therefore comparing these two pressures, so H rho G is equal to 2T by R. Now from figure, now observe this figure, this R is the radius of meniscus, small r is the radius of capillary tube, and theta be the angle of contact, or here the theta is the angle between small r and capital R, and therefore from figure cos theta is equal to r upon capital R, that is cos theta is equal to small r upon capital R, therefore capital R is equal to small r upon cos theta. Now put this value of capital R in this equation, and we can write h rho g is equal to 2t upon capital R, that is r upon cos theta, means 2t cos theta upon r h rho g, and therefore h can be written as 2t cos theta upon r rho g. This is an expression for height of liquid rises in the capillary tube, or this surface tension can be written as h r rho g upon 2 cos theta, and this is formula for surface tension of liquid, and this is by using the pressure difference. Second method is by using the force. This can be explained. Now, second method to determine the rise of liquid in capillary tube, that is the force or method of force. Here we consider a liquid which partially wet the solid comes in contact with the solid in a beaker, and a capillary tube is dipped into the liquid. Then the liquid will rise in the capillary in such a way that this is capillary tube, and the liquid rises in capillary tube up to height h. The meniscus of liquid is concave. Now let theta be the angle of contact and capital T be the surface tension of liquid. Small r be the radius of capillary, theta be the angle of contact, h be the height of liquid, rho be the density of liquid, and a capital T be the surface tension. Now as the meniscus is concave, it means that the free surface of liquid will be circular. If we see the free surface of liquid in capillary tube, then it will appear circular, and therefore the length of contact will be 2 pi r, because as the small r is the radius of capillary tube, and therefore its circumference will be 2 pi r. That circumference of meniscus is nothing but the length of contact. Now by using the concept of surface tension, the force due to surface tension acting on the free surface of liquid will be Ft is equal to T into 2 pi r, because surface tension is equal to force per unit length, means F upon 2 pi r. Here the force acting due to the surface tension will be equal to surface tension into the length. Here force due to surface tension is F is equal to T into length, and therefore F is equal to, or Ft is equal to T into 2 pi r, where 2 pi r is nothing but the length of the meniscus. This is force due to surface tension. Now on the meniscus, two forces are acting. For this meniscus, two forces are acting. One is the force due to surface tension, and second will be the weight of liquid in downward direction. Now this force due to surface tension again resolved into two components. One is vertical component, that is Ft cos theta, and second is horizontal component Ft sin theta. Now this horizontal component Ft sin theta is negligible, or it can be rejected, but the vertical component, that is the Ft cos theta, is balanced by the downward component equal to the weight of the liquid, and therefore the Ft cos theta is equal to weight of liquid mg. Now m is the mass of liquid in capillary, or mass of liquid rise in capillary, and g is the gravity. But how can we calculate the mass of liquid in capillary? We cannot calculate directly or by measuring the liquid. So we use the formula, that is density of liquid is equal to mass upon volume, and therefore mass is equal to density into volume. Now volume of this capillary of height h is nothing but the height of capillary is h, and free surface, that is cross sectional area, will be A equal to pi r square. Therefore volume of capillary of height h will be equal to area into height, means pi r square into h. So here now m is the mass of liquid, and therefore using rho is equal to mass upon volume, therefore mass is equal to density into volume. Therefore m equal to density into, now volume is area into h, because this is a circular cross section, and height is h, therefore area into h, and therefore therefore m equal to rho into pi r square into h. This is nothing but the mass of liquid in the capillary, and therefore the equation 1 becomes, this is equation number 1, becomes ft cos theta is equal to rho into pi r square h into g. But this ft is equal to t into 2 pi r, therefore this can be written as 2 pi r into t is cos theta is equal to rho into pi r square h g. Now r pi get cancelled, pi r get cancelled, and therefore it becomes 2t cos theta is equal to rho r h g. Therefore h can be written as 2t cos theta upon r rho g, or t is equal to h r rho g upon 2 cos theta. This is a required expression for surface tension of liquid or the height of liquid rise in the capillary by using the method of force. Now we see fluids in motion. In the starting of this chapter, we have seen that the fluid at steady, and this is a branch of physics which deals with the study of fluid at rest or steady is called hydrostatics. But in this case we will see the fluid in motion, and therefore the next branch of physics which deals with the study of fluid in motion is called hydrodynamics. So first definition is hydrodynamics. So what is hydrodynamics? The branch of physics which deals with the study of properties of fluids in motion is called hydrodynamics. The study of motion of real fluid is very complicated. Real fluid study is very complicated because we cannot measure the velocities, direction, path of the motion of fluid or flow of fluid, and therefore the study of motion of real fluid is very complicated. Therefore we discuss the flow of ideal fluid in a tube or pipe. This in general flow cannot be measured, it is complicated, and that's why we use the flow of liquid in the tube. So before to explain the motion of fluid, we define some important definition. So first is a steady flow. Steady means constant, and flow. Now steady flow means constant flow. Constant flow means the flow whose velocity of the particles is constant is called steady flow. So the flow in which the pressure or velocity of the fluid is constant throughout the flow is called steady flow. Second is flow line. Flow line means the path along which the flow is taken out, carried out. So the path of an individual particle in a moving fluid is called flow line. Then streamline, a curve whose tangent at any point in the flow is in the direction of velocity of flow is called streamline. Then flow tube. This is flow tube. This is imaginary tube. So flow tube, an imaginary bundle of flow lines, means it is a bundle of flow lines. There are so many numbers of flow lines. Then the bundle of flow lines, that is imaginary bundle of flow lines bounded by imaginary wall is called flow tube. Then laminar or streamline flow, a flow of liquid in which every particle is moving in same direction. Listen this figure. It is a flow of liquid in which every particle of fluid is moving in the same direction with velocity less than the critical velocity. Means the velocity of this particle is less than critical velocity is called streamline flow. For example, the flow of river water in summer season. उन्हाळ्यामध्ये नदीला पाणी वगैरे फार कमी असते, तर तिथे जो पाणी वाहतो नदीचा उन्हाळ्यात तो कसा असतो, स्ट्रीमलाइन, स्टेडी असतो, कॉन्स्टंट. पण पावसाळ्यामध्ये जेव्हा नदीला पूर येतो, पूर आल्यानंतर त्या नदीचा पाण्याचा प्रवाह बघा, तो ॲट रँडम कसाही असतो, कुठल्याही डायरेक्शनला असतो, वेगवेगळ्या व्हेलॉसिटीचा असतो, कॉन्स्टंट असतो का, नाही. त्याला म्हटलेलं आहे टर्बुलंट फ्लो. सेकंड इज नेक्स्ट इज टर्बुलंट फ्लो. ए फ्लो ऑफ लिक्विड in which every particle is moving in a different directions and the velocity is greater than critical velocity is called turbulent flow. So these statements can be understood by using this diagram, that is flow tube, this is streamline flow and this is turbulent flow. And next we see the critical velocity and Reynolds number. So what is critical velocity and what is Reynolds number? Now we see. Now we see critical velocity and Reynolds number. So what is critical velocity? Critical velocity is a certain minimum velocity of flow of liquid up to which the flow of liquid is a streamline flow, and above this certain minimum velocity the flow of liquid converts streamline flow to turbulent flow, and this minimum velocity is called critical velocity. It is denoted by Vc, means V and suffix c. So once again I define the critical velocity. The velocity of flow of liquid beyond which a streamline flow becomes turbulent flow is called critical velocity. Or in other words we can define the minimum velocity of flow of liquid up to which the flow is streamline, and above this velocity the streamline flow converts into turbulent flow is called critical velocity. Critical velocity is given by Vc is equal to R into beta upon rho into small d. This Vc stands for critical velocity. This capital R is Reynolds number. Rho is the density of liquid. R is Reynolds number. Beta is coefficient of viscosity. Rho is density of liquid. And d is diameter of tube, and in this way we can determine the critical velocity of flow of liquid. Now second is Reynolds number. So what is Reynolds number? Reynolds number is a pure number. It has no dimensions and no unit. It is a pure number. So Reynolds number is a pure number which determines the nature of flow of liquid. Means either it is a steady flow, either it is a streamline flow, or it is a turbulent flow. This can be distinguished by using the Reynolds number, and therefore Reynolds number is a pure number which determines the nature of flow of liquid. So using this formula we can write the formula for Reynolds number, that is R equal to Vc into rho into d upon neta. This is the formula for Reynolds number. Now condition for Reynolds number. What are the conditions? If the value of Reynolds number is less than 1000, then flow of liquid is streamline. That is condition number 1. If R is less than 1000, then flow is streamline. Second, if 1000 less than R less than 2000, म्हणजेच if R is lying between 1000 and 2000, then flow of liquid becomes unsteady or unstable. Flow is unstable. And third, if R is greater than 2000, then flow is turbulent. And these are the conditions for Reynolds number. Using these conditions, we can determine the nature of flow of liquid. And next to this, we will discuss the viscosity of liquid.